Hello everyone, back tuning into our Wednesday afternoon live stream on the Gaz Weathers YouTube channel. So thank you so much everybody for tuning in this afternoon. And well, what a glorious afternoon it is out there, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing again, really, the weather this afternoon. Really, really warm. And we've had temperatures into the low 20s again, I think, today. And it's going to go on for a few more days as well. In fact, the temperature, it may slide a little bit tomorrow. Actually, the temperature might slide a little bit tomorrow, just shaving a couple of degrees off. But as we get through to Friday and Saturday, we may even see the temperature going up to around 24 or 25 degrees, which is pretty remarkable for what is still relatively early in April, actually. So 25 is 77 Fahrenheit, and it would be a very, very warm afternoon in June, and really a bit above average even for an afternoon temperature in July or August, actually. Yeah, it's a proper classic old spell of spring weather that we've got at the moment, or early summer weather. And I hope you're all enjoying it. If you're able to get out into the garden and enjoy it anyway. Of course, we can't go beyond the boundaries of our homes except for once a day exercise or for essential shopping. But if you have got a garden, then absolutely glorious weather for being outside in your garden. So, of course, we're here on a Wednesday and a Sunday afternoon. But having said that, there won't be a live stream this coming Sunday because of competition. More about that a little bit later on in the stream mode. But we are here generally every Wednesday and Sunday afternoon while we're in this lockdown that we are currently in due to the coronavirus. I want to give everybody the chance within the Gaz Weathers community to be able to check in and have a bit of a chat and see how we're all doing while we're in lockdown. That's the reason we're doing the live streams twice a week at the moment. But as I say, there won't be a live stream coming up on Sunday because I've got a competition to sort out, and I'll explain more about that very shortly. Right, so we've got some people with us already. So we've been talking for a couple of minutes. We've got 22 people watching us at the moment. So hello, and thank you everybody for tuning in on this Wednesday afternoon. At some point I'm going to say thank you for tuning in on this Sunday afternoon. I'm quite sure about that because normally the live streams that we've done have tended to be on a Sunday afternoon. But thanks for tuning in on this Wednesday afternoon anyway. Right, so we've got a few people in the live chat. So just to say, but if you're listening as we're doing this, you can comment within the live chat and you can pose questions and whatnot and get involved in the discussion as well. So the live streams are interactive for everybody to get involved with if they want to do so. 28 people with us, going up quite quickly this afternoon. So we've got Sharon first in, saying afternoon Gavin. Afternoon Sharon, thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon, and I hope you had a nice day. Hope you're enjoying this glorious April weather. Ibby17 is with us, saying finally made a stream. So yeah, well, we're going to be regular with this, Ibby. So Wednesday, Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but every other Sunday after that. Wednesday and Sunday, we're going to be here during lockdown. And we'll be giving everybody the chance to check in and see how we're all doing. Sunny is with us saying hi Gavin. Hi Sunny, thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. And Alpha SB as well. So good afternoon Alpha SB, thank you for tuning in to our live stream on this Wednesday afternoon. Elijah Carpenter is with us. Good afternoon all. I hope you're all keeping well and safe. It's a warm sunny afternoon where I am at 19 Celsius. A summer-like temperature. Yes indeed Elijah. These temperatures won't be out of place for like end of May, early June. Definitely. And as I say, we may push this temperature up a little bit more actually over the next couple of days. Not tomorrow. I think temperature tomorrow slides ever so slightly. But after that, yes, I think Good Friday and particularly Saturday have a potential for getting the temperature to somewhere around 24, maybe 25 degrees. So, not doing too badly at all, are we, for so early in the season? Let's hope we don't have to pay for this with a bad summer, though. We've got Harby Harbour saying it's 18 degrees in Wales with clear skies. So thanks for tuning in, Harvey. Yes, Wales also included in this glorious weather. I don't think it's quite as good in Scotland or Northern Ireland, though. So if you've got anybody further north, I think it does deteriorate a little bit when you get a bit further northwards. Callum is with us. Hello, yeah, glorious sunshine here in Pendine, Cornwall. A pleasant 16 degrees. Well, thank you for tuning in, Callum, on this Wednesday afternoon. So thanks for tuning in to our live stream. And, yes, 16 degrees, not too bad at all for the 8th of April. Just say that later on in the video, we'll have a look at some temperature observations from XC Weather, see how the temperatures are doing. We'll also have a look at some sea surface temperature anomaly maps. We did on Sunday discuss sea surface temperature anomalies for the summer, whether there's an impact on sea surface temperature anomalies in the Atlantic in the summer. And we sort of mentioned 1976 and 2018. I haven't been able to get the anomaly chart together for 1976, unfortunately, for the summer of 1976. But we will have a look at what the sea surface temperature anomalies were doing in the summer of 2018. We have rather a strange sea surface temperature anomaly in the North Atlantic during the summer of 2018, so we'll have a look at that later on in the video. We might have a quick look at the CFS-V2 as well, see how those 700 millibar height anomalies are looking for the next month or two. Perhaps we've got 32 people with us this afternoon, so hello and a big thank you to our 32 viewers and listeners. We hope you're enjoying this live stream. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on the live stream, smash the like button, and let us know that you are enjoying video, and more importantly, of course, let YouTube know that you are enjoying the video as well. Radio 432 is saying, hello Gavin, feel like this is going to be a repeat of April 2017 or April 2015. Do you agree? It feels similar weather-wise. I'm not sure actually, Radio 432. I can't remember a great deal about April's 2017 and 2015, although they weren't all that long ago, but you have to bear in mind I am getting a bit older now. So some of those months do sort of blend into the memory a little bit. If you remind me what happened in those two Aprils, I'm sure I'll remember. This is reminding me a little bit of April 2007, I have to say, which of course followed a very wet and a very mild winter. The wet and mild weather continued into the beginning of March, and then sort of later March it dried out and started to get milder. And then had a really warm and dry April in 2007, and then we know what happened after that. That's why I said I hope we don't have a price to pay for this fine weather as we get into the end of the spring and into the summer. You never quite know how things are going to work out. So just to say that I'm going through the live chat as we're speaking. I'm looking for as many of your comments as I can. I may not be able to answer everybody, although the live streams at the moment aren't as busy as they were back when we was doing the live streams for the winter updates. So I should be able to get most of the comments in, hopefully. But what tends to happen is that it tends to pull down to the bottom of the the live chat. It wants to get you to the last comment all the time, so I have to scroll back up and get back to where I was within the live chat. So if I miss anybody out, if anybody gets missed out, then really sorry about that. If I sort of go off into the background for a couple of seconds, it's because I'm scrolling back up to get back to the last comment. Adam Blunston is saying, hi Gabs, how are you? So, hello Adam, thanks for tuning in this afternoon. I'm very well, thanks Adam, and I hope you're having a lovely afternoon. We've also got Darren Lewis with us saying, hello Gab, hope you and family are all okay. Weird times at the most, stay safe. Yes indeed, Darren, it's very bad times, isn't it? And that's the reason we're doing these live streams at the moment, to give everybody the chance to check in and just, you know, see how everybody is getting on as we're in lockdown and we're all rather isolated. I thought it would give us as a community a chance to come together and just see how how we're doing during this period of lockdown. But I'm good, thanks, my friend. We're in the countryside in Northampton here at Galsworthy, so we're a little bit out of the way. We're a little bit isolated, and that does make it easier to to stay out of the way and to isolate ourselves quite a bit. Although I expect in the end the virus will spread into the countryside as well, as it normally does. It normally goes, when you have viruses and pandemics, they normally go from the cities to the towns to eventually into rural areas. So I'm sure it will eventually arrive here. But for the time being, we're managing to keep safe, and we're managing to self-isolate and keep ourselves in a safe situation. I hope you are too, Darren. I hope you and your family are doing okay at the moment. Michael Prime is saying we need a rain dance for the garden. Well, we had enough rain back in the winter, Michael. It didn't stop raining, did it? So it was obvious that at some point we would go into a drier period, and that's indeed what's happened. Again, it all reminds me a lot of 2007, this, where we had a really mild and also very wet winter, and then we went off into a really dry spring, and then eventually the rain, of course, came back big time into the summer of 2007. We'll have to hope that that doesn't happen. Our moderator, Lilac Floyd, is with us. So thank you for tuning in to the live stream and for moderating the live stream, Lilac. So Lilac saying 21 Celsius here in Bournemouth. That's really good, isn't it, for the 8th of April? 70 Fahrenheit on the 8th day of April. It can't be too bad at all. Thank you for tuning in this afternoon and for moderating our stream, Lilac. We've got Elijah Carpenter with us as well, and Elijah is saying, whoops, we pulled down to the bottom, so I'm just going to get that. There we go. Elijah is saying, I'd rather take a summer like 2017 rather than 2015, although it'll be hard to forget the very hot spell in July 2015, of course. Yes, that's true, Elijah. So, of course, July, summer 2015 overall was a very miserable summer. It's really quite cool, and wasn't very exciting at all, but it did pick up a lot as it went along, into July, I should say. So just at the end of June into early July, we had a real push-up in the temperature, like a temperature spike. It only lasted for a couple of days, but the temperature reached around 36 degrees, I think, at its maximum, maybe a little bit more. And then once that had gone, then the rest of summer was really poor. Whereas 2017 was a little bit more distributed, a little bit more evenly distributed with the fine weather. I think, especially early on, we had a lot of decent weather through early summer 2017, and then it went a little bit downhill in August, as tends to happen quite a lot, really. So over 30 people with us. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in this afternoon. Give us a thumbs up on the live stream and let us know that you are enjoying it. Tim Chapman is with us. I'm in the Galsworthy community. Yes, you are, Tim. Thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. Hope you're having a lovely afternoon. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on the video and let us know that you are enjoying our live stream. Mark Kanish is saying, hi Gavin, I hope you're well. I'm glad weather is getting more unsettled this weekend. It'll hopefully keep everybody in so that we don't get so... Let's read that again. Hi Gavin, I hope you're well. I'm glad weather is getting more unsettled this weekend. It'll hopefully keep them in. We want this virus to go, don't we? Yes, that's true. So, because we're all self-isolating, got to stay indoors, and, if we can stick to the rules, if we can adhere to the rules, then hopefully we'll be able to come out of this period, sooner than later, whereas if everybody breaks the rules of self-isolation, they're going to take longer to get out of it. So I'm actually going to be overly unsettled, though, this weekend, Mark. Actually, we've done the 5-day forecast covering the full Easter period, and it's not looking that unsettled. There are going to be some heavy showers around Good Friday, Easter, Saturday in particular. They may be a little bit thundery. But as we get through to the second half of the Easter weekend, it should be quite a bit of dry weather. What we will notice is quite a significant drop in the temperature, though. But I'm not anticipating it's going to be a really unsettled weekend at all. So we've got Shiram saying, "Hello, Gavin. Early days, but do you think we will get a good winter for 2020-2021? Well, that's a very, very long range forecast, Shiram. It's too early to say on that, unfortunately, I'm afraid. So it's just going to be a case of watching this space and seeing how things go on. We don't like to prejudge anything at Gaz Weathers. We know that we're going to be within solar minimum, or probably coming just out of solar minimum, which that's increasing the chance a little bit of getting a colder winter. But on the other hand, there are many other factors to bear in mind. So you can't judge the winter to come by that factor alone, by any means. So it's much too early to be able to say on that, Shiram. We will be releasing the NAO forecast for the winter of 2020-2021. Probably, I'm not sure when that will be, but it will probably be like the end of June, early July. Something like that, but I certainly haven't got a date for that. It's too early to even have a date for that. So that's always like the first step along the journey, if you like, of being able to. It's like on the first step of the journey of being able to begin to think about the winter. Begin to think about winter when you do the NAO forecast. That'll be the first thing up, and as I say, we'll do that sometime at the end of June or the beginning of July, but we'll have to see. We've got Weather Michael saying, "Hi Gav, hope you're well. It's about time we've had this pattern flip. Shame it's happened while we're all in lockdown. Least people's gardens should be looking great this year with the fine weather." That's true, Michael. So, yes, definitely we was long overdue a flip to drier conditions. I thought if the deluge went on much longer, when we got it to the end of February, it's still going on. I thought if it went on much longer, we'd all start growing things. So we're definitely overdue a spell of drier weather. We have got this spell of drier weather. We anticipated it when we did the spring forecast. And I think overall the spring forecast is going quite well at the moment. So fingers crossed, we've got our first long range forecast that's not going too bad for a little time, because of course the winter and autumn forecast both went quite badly awry, to say the least. So hopefully we've got a slightly better long range forecast developing at the moment. We're nearly up to 40 people watching us now. Hello and good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for tuning in to our live stream on this Wednesday afternoon. Please give us a thumbs up on the live stream and let us know that you are enjoying it. Let's have a look at one or two more of your comments then. So Alpha SB is saying it's 18 degrees in the east. Impressive to me, since we normally get a cool breeze at this time of year. Yeah, those easterly winds can be, and we do tend to get a lot of easterly winds, of course, in the spring. The spring is the most easterly of the seasons, and those easterly winds in the spring can be pretty chilly on the east coast. So yeah, 80 Celsius definitely not too bad. Now, Radio 432 is telling me what happened in April 2015 and 2017. So apparently they both had warm starts with 25 Celsius plus, then turned more blocked in the second half of the month. Both Marches had a chillier second half. They had a CT of 9 and 8.9 respectively. That's interesting, Radio. I've completely forgotten all about April 2015, 2017. So thanks for the reminder with that. Yeah, it does seem, though, that we do tend to get warmer weather in April these days, doesn't it, than we used to? It used to be very, very uncommon to push the temperature up to 25 degrees in April. It used to be very, very uncommon to do that, but it does seem to be something that happens a little bit more frequently these days. So that's perhaps why I've forgotten it a little bit, because actually a lot of Aprils seem to push temperature up quite high. I know 2018 had a very warm spell during April, setting up the hot summer pattern, and even last year I think had some pretty warm weather. Definitely had some very warm weather over Easter. I think that was in April as well. So it does seem as though these days we tend to get it quite hot in April, which always used to be a bad sign for the summer in some ways. It always used to be a bit of a worrying sign when you got the temperature into the mid-20s in April. But we saw from 2018, for example, that although we did have a very warm spell of weather in April 2018, we still got a hot summer. So maybe those old sort of ideas and rules about if you get it very warm and dry in April, it's bad news for the summer. Maybe they've gone out window a little bit in more recent times. 41 people are with us now. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in on this Wednesday afternoon. I hope you're enjoying the live stream. I hope you're having a lovely afternoon as well. Don't forget to smash the like button and let us know that you are enjoying the live stream. Met Weather is saying, what's your opinion on some showers and an isolated thunderstorm or two this afternoon? I'm not sure, Met Weather, actually. It's where I'm. It's mainly dry. I know there is a chance of the odd thundery shower popping off this afternoon. I think day by day that risk increases. So tomorrow there'll be a few more showers around. Good Friday and maybe just Good Friday for more western central areas have quite a high risk of thundery showers. And then on East Saturday, the thundery shower risk is probably more for the east and the southeast. So day by day, the risk of these showers is going to increase, I think. Joe, awesome one, is saying, hi, young man, blessings as always. Well, thank you so much, Joe. That's really, really kind. I'm not sure about being young, though, I have to say. But thank you for that. I hope you're having a lovely afternoon. Tim Chapman is saying, is there any evidence that warm spring weather means a cool summer? So, as I was just explaining, it's like several years ago, the idea tended to be that he had it very warm in the spring, particularly true, he had it very warm in April. It was a bad sign for the summer. And by that, I'm talking about years such as 2011, 2007, and probably 1987 as examples. But in more recent years, we have had appreciable weather, warm weather in the spring and in April. We had it in 2018, for example, and that was followed by a hot summer. So, as I say, those old sorts of ideas and rules about potentially having it warm early on and then it deteriorates as you get into the summer, they may have gone out of the window a little bit. I'm not sure whether those old sort of weather rules that we used to think of as being quite reliable are as reliable for some reason these days. So Radio 432 saying, been biding my time by looking at historic weather charts recently. 1994 to 1997 was a really wacky time for the weather. Do you have fond memories of this time of the year, Gav? So, mid-1990s, yes. Well, generally, of course, the 1990s, very warm decade, of course, had loads of warm weather during the 1990s. Most of the summers were really warm to hot. One or two exceptions. 1993 wasn't very good, and also 1998 was a pretty poor summer. But generally, the 1990s are thought of as a golden decade for summers, and that did, of course, encompass the middle of the 1990s. Had a hot summer in 1994, and then an even hotter summer in 1995 as well. Went back closer to something more average in 1996, and then had a really warm summer in 1997, late on anyway. August 1997 was very hot, but also very funny. So yeah, it was a strange period for weather. Of course, you had a couple of cold winters as well in the middle of the 1990s, because what the 1990s as well as being remembered as favouring warm summers are well known for is also the fact that they had a lot of mild winters. Most of the winters during the 1990s were mild, but there was a couple of cold winters in the middle of the 1990s, 1995, 1996, and then again 1996, 1997. So yeah, I've got fond memories of that time, Radio 432, especially that winter of 95-96, because we hadn't really had a cold winter since 1991, and that's kind of like a one-off, and all winters before and after that were generally mild. So when 95-96 happened, that was a real surprise. It was a really surprising winter that we had there, where the wind just kept going repeatedly into the east. And of course, you can't forget the hot summer of 1995 as well. That was a real classic. So we've got, let's have a look at one or two of your comments, see if I can do that. So, let's pull down to the last comment as well. I see that we've got some more of our moderators with us. So Paul James is with us. Hi, Paul. Thank you for tuning in this afternoon and moderating the chat. And also got Savvy with us as well, another one of our moderators. So thank you, Savvy, for being with us this afternoon and tuning in to our live stream. And of course, moderating the live chat as well. So thank you, Paul. Thank you, Savvy, for being with us this afternoon. If everybody can say hello to Paul and to Savvy and thank them for being with us, that would be really, really good. So we've also got Mark Kniss saying the only difference I would say having wasn't January 2007 quite dry and February had a cold spell in 2007 at Wisstone. Yes, I think January 2007 was very zonal, it's very westerly. It wasn't that wet, I don't think, actually. So the rain was in February of 2007. And February 2007, yes, it did have that sort of easterly outbreak. It only lasted a couple of days, didn't it? But did get quite cold for a day or two during February 2007. So try and find one or two more you can't. So we're going to do some screen sharing in about 4 or 5 minutes. We'll do some screen sharing and we'll see what the observations are doing at XC weather. We'll have a look at the sea surface temperature anomalies as well, the latest, and also we'll have a look at the summer of 2018 to see sea surface temperature anomaly there. And we may have a look at CFSV2 as well. So all of that coming up very shortly. Big thanks to everybody for tuning in. Over 40 people watching us this afternoon. I think that's more people than we had last Wednesday. So as we're going along, perhaps getting a little bit of a bigger audience. But I appreciate that, everybody's going to be busy on a Wednesday. Although everyone's in lockdown, everybody's going to have other things to do on a Wednesday afternoon. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to our live stream this afternoon. Let's see if I can find one or two more of your comments before we do that screen sharing. So we've got Iceman saying, good afternoon, Gavin. Good afternoon, Iceman. Thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. And Elijah is saying, I think an unsettled summer would be better for self-isolating, but as we have had a long run of very wet weather lasting nearly 6 months, this could raise flooding concerns if it came off. Yeah, that's true, Elijah. So I'm hoping that by the time we get into the summer itself, like June, July, some of these restrictions that we're currently in, like the lockdown, will be able to start being eased off a little bit. If everybody does what they're supposed to do now, if everybody sort of flouts the rules, then this is going to go on longer. So we've got to really lock down at the moment, and then hopefully by the time we get through to the actual summer itself, June, July, especially later on, July, August, hopefully we'll be able to come out of this lockdown a little bit, and people will be able to start enjoying the summer, whatever it has to offer. Chris A is with us. Hi, Gav. Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for tuning in to our live stream this afternoon. Right, should we do some screen sharing then? And I've got to remember how to do this. I'm always a little bit rusty when I'm screen sharing. By the way, you can donate to the stream, to the live stream through Streamlabs, or you can super chat. Super chat is enabled for this live stream. So if you want to donate, then that's how you do it. When you super chat, it sort of flags up your comment and highlights it a little bit. But just if you want to do that, it's an option. But as I say, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in on this Wednesday afternoon. And he says Sunday afternoon, then. Right, we'll turn off the image, and then we're going to do some display capturing. There we go, so that should be working, hopefully. And we're going to move over to XC Weather, first of all. And there we are. We can see the latest observations at XC Weather as of 8 minutes past 4 this afternoon, so around 20 minutes ago. And 23 degrees was the maximum temperature then at 8 minutes past 4 in 2 locations, flashing away. So we had 23 at Hertzman Zone. And 23, if I can find it again. So it's a little bit cumbersome trying to find these things. So we've got London Gatwick at 22. I think there's somewhere else that's flashing away at 23, but I can't find it. So we've got London Gatwick at 22. Maybe that's been rounded up to 23 or something. It looks like that's the station, doesn't it? So that it's saying 22 on the little box there, but it's possibly been rounded up that to 23. Let's say it was 22.6 or something, then they would round that up to 23. And we also have 23 at Hertsmanzow as well. It's a warm afternoon now as well. Wittering in the Midlands is up to 21. We've got Church Lawford at 20, to Western Aerodrome at 19, High Wycombe at 21, Benson is at 22, and so on. So yeah, really warm afternoon in the south and in the southeast too. Not as warm up in the north. Look at that, only 6 degrees there. Very, very lowly 6 degrees at a couple of stations up in Scotland. Lossiemouth on the Moray Firth is just 6 degrees. We've also got Loch Glascarnog at just 6 degrees as well. So it's still pretty wintry for far north of the country, but most places are actually nice and warm. Temperatures into the low 20s quite widely. We've got Senny Bridge at 18 degrees, Lake Vyrnwy at 17, Capel Curig 18 degrees, so into the upper teens Celsius in Wales. Northeast parts of England, Teesside for example, 18 degrees. That's really good for the northeast of England on the 8th of April. And over into Northern Ireland, we've also got Belfast at 16. So it confirms it's a really warm afternoon out there. And if anything, we're probably going to see the temperatures, as I say, going up another couple of degrees on Friday, quite white across the country, and then maybe in the southeast on Saturday. Could be some thundery showers mixed in, though. Right, these are the Sea Surface Temperature Anomaly Maps from NOAA. So I'll just show you the latest, shall I? That's the latest in terms of Sea Surface Temperature Anomalies. So, again, hope you can see this okay. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. I may have pulled out a little bit too far. So, again, we've got this cold average area sea surface temperature in the North Atlantic. Pretty cold in the northeastern Pacific with this kind of horseshoe shape of cold that's indicative of a cold PDO type signature from Alaska and Canada going down to the north coast, or to the west coast I should say, of America, and then out into the middle of the North Pacific Ocean. ENSO region continues to be at ENSO neutral. Very little change on recent weeks. Tropical Atlantic, significantly warmer than average, and also very warm in across the Gulf of Mexico. That's sustained into the summer. It could get quite interesting in terms of the tropical storm and hurricane season. Still early days on that. It's only early April, so we may see the tropical Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico cooling down. But if these temperatures were sustained, or if they got any hotter, then that could actually start to get quite interesting for the hurricane season. As I say, still significantly colder than average across much of the North Atlantic. The cold blob goes on up there. So let's go back, shall we, and have a look at 2018. So these are the years down here, by the way. If you want to look at the historic sea surface temperature anomaly maps at NOAA, that's how you do it. You go to this page. We link to this on gazweathers.com on the links page, and also in the description at YouTube. So these are our years just here. So if you want to go back, you can go back all the way to 1996 reliably, and then actually down here you can get yourself back to 1984, 83, 84, I think. Anyway, let's look at 2018. We'll have a look at sea surface temperature anomalies from the summer of 2018. So let's look up the second day of July 2018, and there they are. You can see that again we have those very, very cold sea surface temperature anomalies across the North Atlantic. Notice how cold they are from sort of Greenland going down towards Newfoundland. And then quite cool through the tropical Atlantic as well, and in between it's relatively warm. That's a strong signature for a positive NAO, and that's the sort of pattern that we had as well during the summer of 1976. But so there was some speculation about whether the hot dry summer of 2018, whether that was in some way connected back to the Atlantic sea surface temperature anomalies, as 1976 had a very similar sea surface temperature anomaly profile. This is June 2018. Notice we got this horseshoe shape of cold sea surface temperature anomalies just here from like the south of Greenland and then going down in towards the central part of the North Atlantic, in between quite warm around the Azores. Again, this is very indicative of a cold PDO, Pacific Decadal Oscillation, and it's also indicative of a positive NAO type pattern as well. So that possibly explains why we strengthened the Azores high. The sea surface temperature anomalies that we've got this year are not really all that similar to that. So let's go back, and we'll go back to 2020 to this year. This is the latest. So you see there's quite significant differences. Although it is cold average to the south of Greenland and off the coast of Ireland down to the Bay of Biscay, the cold is nowhere near as deep or as extreme. And it's not in that sort of horseshoe shape either that we had in June 2018. And it is a lot warmer through the tropical Atlantic as well than it was at this point in 2018. So there are quite significant differences with the sea surface temperature anomalies at the moment to 2018. Whether these sea surface temperature anomalies that we've got right now mean anything for the winter, for the summer I should say, or indeed for the winter, time will of course tell. Right, let's go back to YouTube then, and we'll see what you've been saying. So we've put the screen capture back up. We'll head back to YouTube. There we go, and I still got 10. We've got 48 people with us right now, so hello. And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in on this Wednesday afternoon. I hope you've been enjoying this live stream. We're going to be here until 5 o'clock, so we've got another 20-25 minutes to go. Savvy has given us a super chat, so thank you so much, Savvy, for super chatting. That's really, really kind of you, my friends. Savvy is saying, make sure you like the stream, folks. Thank you, Gav, for all of your hard work. Well, thank you so much, Savvy. That's really, really kind. Thank you for being here and also for moderating our live stream this afternoon. That's really, really great. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much for doing that. So let's just scroll through the chat and see what you've been saying while I've been doing that little bit of live streaming, a little bit of screen sharing, I should say. And we may have a look at 7SV2 as well before we go have a look at a couple of the 700 millibar height anomalies. So we've got Radio 432 saying, also a reminder that a hot summer followed an exceptionally April heatwave in 2003 and 1949. Bit late as the topic would have changed by the time you read this, but interesting nonetheless. Yes, that's true. Radio 432. So again, it just goes to show you never know. There definitely is the idea that if you have a warm spell of weather in spring, and particularly so in April, it's bad news for some, but it definitely does not work out like that all the time. Sally says, I've been doing well. I've just been editing a video, but took a break to watch Gav's stream. So thanks so much for that, Savvy. We've got 1 or 2 more people with us as well. So if I can see some more of your comments, there we go. We have got James Jukebox with us saying, stay home. We've got Gav. Cheers. So thank you, James. I hope I'm sort of entertaining everybody during this period of lockdown. It's another reason why I wanted to do this, actually, so that it would give something else to do. So, yes, hope everybody is enjoying this live stream. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on the live stream, as we keep saying. We've got Katrine Baso with us saying, in the mid-1990s, I was living in Ashington in Northumberland. And by the way, good afternoon, Katrine. Thank you for tuning in to our live stream this afternoon. So Katrine is saying, in the mid-1990s, I was living in Ashington in Northumberland. And I remember the winter of 1995 and 1996. It was very foggy and frosty. The snow had hardened with ice and fog was very dense. Yes, I remember it very well, Katrine. We had regular easterly outbreaks during that winter. I think the coldest part of the winter was over Christmas, actually. The most severest in terms of the cold, I think, was over Christmas of 1995. When we pulled down some really extremely cold air from the north and from sort of the Arctic on a northerly wind. And it caused many parts of the Northern Isles, for example, and Shetland, Orkney, to become absolutely deluged with snow. I think an emergency had to be declared up there. So that's the coldest part of winter. But the cold was just regularly on and off through that winter. Regular sort of Scandinavian highs bringing easterly winds. Then the Scandinavian high would recede back a little bit and allow some moderation for a while. But then the easterlies and the Scandinavian highs would come back again. So I have really fond memories of 95, 96. Also had a tremendous ice storm where we are in Northants at the end of January. I think it's around the 26th of January 1996. And that's just about the only time in my life, and I'm in my 40s now, it's the only time in my life that I've seen proper sort of sheet ice and glaze on all surfaces. It looked absolutely incredible to see the glaze of almost like glass covering all the surfaces, but it was absolutely lethal. It was lethal to walk on. There were many, many people injured, either through falling over or traffic accidents and whatnot. So it was really, really dangerous. But on the inside, if you didn't have to go anywhere, it looked absolutely amazing to see this glaze of glass-like ice covering all surfaces. So, yeah, I have really fond memories of 95, 96. And, of course, it came at such a surprising time because the 1990s, as I say, are generally remembered as a decade of very mild winters and of westerly winters. So it was a real surprise. No one was expecting it. And fond memories then of the winter of 95, 96, and of course it came off the back of a hot summer as well. Alpha SB is saying, I hope this lockdown ends before May. I want to go get my telescope and look at Comet Atlas. I'm not sure it's going to end before May, Alpha. I suspect they may start easing back on one or two of the restrictions sort of in May, but I would anticipate it's probably going to be June. That's what I'm hoping for, but we may start to see a bit of an easing of the restrictions coming in June. But before then, it's just going to be a case of how quickly they can get on top of the virus. I think we're beginning to start seeing a bit of a plateau in terms of new cases. Unfortunately, deaths are going to be a lagging indicator, so they're going to carry on going up, I'm afraid, for the next couple of weeks at least. Unfortunately, but I think new cases are beginning to plateau a little bit. If everything goes in the right direction, if everybody does what they're supposed to do and stays in, self-isolates, then hopefully by the time we get to the end of April into May, we will start to see all of the numbers going in the right direction. And then, of course, it'll be a case of just gradually coming out of this lockdown. It won't be a sudden process. We won't see all of the restrictions lifted overnight. I don't suppose they'll be gradually eased week by week. So hopefully when we get into June, things might be going in the right direction. But that is only if everybody, that's only going to be if everybody does what they're supposed to do and follows the guidelines. We've got 51 people with us, so hello, and thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in this afternoon. We're going to be here for another 15 minutes, so we're going to be here a little bit longer. And hope you're having a lovely afternoon and enjoying the weather, nice weather outside, and also enjoying the live stream too. So if I can have a look at one or two more comments, and we'll probably do a little bit of screen sharing again. So we've got Paul Jones. Paul, our moderator, is telling us that temperature in Portsmouth right now is at 18 degrees. It doesn't get better than that, does it, Paul? 18 degrees in the early part of April is not too bad at all down on the south coast. So Costadale, Portsmouth, perhaps, down there on the south coast. CRT Gaming is asking, are we going to get any big thunderstorms this week? I'm not sure we'll get big thunderstorms, CRT Gaming. It's a little bit early to be considering big thunderstorms. I think there will be some heavy showers, though, around. They get more frequent day by day. Probably the greatest risk riding across the country is Good Friday for the south and southeast, Easter Saturday. There may be thunder included. You may hear a rumble of thunder, may have a flash of light and some hail because of the very warm temperatures. Of course, there's a lot of energy when temperature gets that warm to trigger the showers. So, yes, there could be some thundery downpours around. I wouldn't be anticipating the kind of massive thunderstorms that we can get on a very hot afternoon in July or August. But for early April, anyway, it could be quite interesting. CRT Gaming, actually we've done that one. So we've got Silver saying, hi, so cold here now in Jerusalem. 10 degrees now tonight, even more colder, 7 maybe. Why till now no spring? Oh, well, I'm very sorry to hear that, Silver. Very sorry to hear that it's so cool over there in Israel. And I'm not sure, it's just probably purely due to the weather setup, so that when sort of northern or western Europe are warmer, are milder, then it can be the case that southeastern Europe, and this can extend beyond the southeast of Europe and in towards like Middle East, if you like. It can be that those sort of areas get it colder and start to drag in northerly winds. It's just one of the ways that sort of the weather system, the equilibrium, balances itself out. So I always say weather is always looking for balance, weather is always trying to find equilibrium. It can never find it, and that's why we get weather, because it's a constant, we see constantly changing air masses all the time. But the weather will always try to get itself into a balance. And one of the ways it does balance itself out across Europe is that when the north and the west of Europe turn warm and dry, the south and the southeast of Europe, or the east and the southeast of Europe, tend to go colder and more unsettled. So I'm afraid the ridge that we're sitting under across much of northern Europe and bringing us all of this warm weather that I've been talking about, that may have had a bad impact in terms of a trough setting up across southeastern parts of Europe, perhaps. But hopefully it'll start warming up for you soon anyway, Silver. And thank you so much for tuning in to our live stream this afternoon. Ollie Williams is saying, if you have answered this already, apologies. Just wondering if you have a personal weather station and are actively recording weather yourself. If so, could you give us a bit of detail about it? No, I don't record weather, Ollie. I haven't got a weather station at the moment. I used to, a few years ago, I did used to record the weather. I've got quite a few weather records going back into the 1990s and early 2000s. Actually, that was just with a mercury thermometer, a mercury max-min thermometer, and a rain gauge. And I did used to do a bit of recording there. Over the past few years, I haven't done that, actually. I've let that lapse a lot, actually, and that's probably because as I've gone on with Gav's weather vids, it's sort of become my day job, really. So when I'm not doing my day job, when I'm not doing Gav's weather vids, I like to do something else. So I suppose on a personal level, recording the weather and the things that I used to do have probably gone on the back burner a little bit as I've done Gav's weather vids. So actually, no, I don't record weather, Ollie, but I know there are some really good weather stations around. I'm sure there will be people in the chat that would like to advise you if you want to get a weather station and start recording weather. I'm sure there's plenty of people in the chat that do record the weather and would like to advise you about what weather station you should get. There's some really great stations out there. I know that for a fact. So, have a look at one, two more. Remember, have a look at CFSV2. See a couple of 700 millibar height anomalies for the coming weeks, and then we'll wrap the stream up around 5 o'clock. We've still got 47 people with us. We've been here for 50 minutes. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in on this Wednesday afternoon. It's really great of you all to be here with us. Please give us a thumbs up on the live stream and let us know that you've enjoyed it. So, one or two more, and then I'll have a look at CFSV2 before we wrap things up. We've got Alan Jones saying, what do you think about a warm, dry April being a prelude to a bad summer? Perhaps you could some analogues for summer. Perhaps you could do some analogues for summers following warm, dry Aprils, or those of a CD 20 degrees. Yes, we may do something like that, actually, Alan. we could well have a look at summers following warm springs or warm Aprils. Something like that could well appear very soon. We talked about this earlier in the video, actually, or earlier in the live stream. So, yes, there's definitely the idea that if you have it very warm in the spring, particularly in April, it's probably bad news for the summer. But then again, there have been several examples where that didn't work out. So I would suggest that a warm, dry April probably overall, if we did the analogues, would probably overall favour a bad summer, but you would probably find within that there would be several examples of years that didn't follow that that trend, if you like. But it could well be something that we're going to look at. This week I thought we'd probably look at March England and Wales precipitation, but they haven't updated that yet at the UK Met. Haven't updated the England and Wales precipitation at UK Met. So I may have to come up with something else. It'll possibly be that we'll look at this week. We shall see how things go. Right, let's just have a very quick look at the CFS V2, and I wanted to do that as well for this video. CFS is always reliable if you want something to look at. It's perhaps not reliable in terms of its output, in terms of its forecast, but it is always reliable in terms of there being something to look at. So let's just have a very quick look at the CFS, and there we go. This is the page for the CFS V2 seasonal climate forecast from the CFS. Hope you can see that okay. Let's go to 700 and then we can have a look at the anomalies. So this is how April is shaping up. Again, hope you can see this okay. April is shaping up to be an anticyclonic month now. High pressure centred over the country, bringing lots of dry and warm weather. That's how May is shaping up with the CFS V2. It's shaping up again to be quite an anticyclonic sort of month. This time the high pressure looks like it's kind of centred over Scandinavia. Looks like the high pressure is centred over Scandinavia, so quite an easterly month would be favoured there. And relatively anticyclonic signals. Again, of course, May is the most easterly month of the year, so that's not a surprise. That's kind of like a classic May 700 millibar height anomaly. This is how June is looking. This is going to be like a mini CFS 6 not to look at, actually. But we're not looking at temperature and precipitation anomalies. This is how June is looking. So, a little bit complicated for June. High pressure is over towards Newfoundland and to the south of Greenland. There's no particular area of low pressure, but this white area just here looks like it would probably be a trough of low pressure to me. So we've got a ridge around the south of Greenland to Newfoundland, probably a trough somewhere around Iceland down towards Scandinavia. So that could actually be a rather cooler and more unsettled month than you might anticipate given the 700 millibar height anomaly. July looks like that. Again, not particularly good signals. Above average heights this time around Iceland. The Azores high looks like it's pushed and displaced a little bit away from us to the southwest. In between, in this white area, again, you would probably expect some sort of trough to be filling up the gap. Trough of low pressure, so again that could be a little bit more unsettled and perhaps a bit cooler than you might anticipate judging from the 700 millibar height only. That's August. We're at month 5 now, so it's not worth worrying about. As I say, in the CFS 6 months look at, we're at the just for fun phase. For August, again, very weak signals. What is apparent here is that there's not a particularly strong ridge from the Azores during any of this. So, of course, the Azores high is what tends to bring us our warmest and driest weather. There's no particularly apparent area of high pressure from the Azores high, and so we're just left with lots of white going on, not a great deal of ridging. What ridges there are look rather flimsy. This is the Azores high just here, but it looks rather weakened and displaced quite a bit away from us. And so overall, you'll probably think this is a relatively coolish type pattern that the CFS is going for here for the summer. Though I'm sure if you looked at the 700 millibar height anomalies, it would actually be going for warmer hours because it always does. But I think in terms of the setup it's creating, it's quite an unsettled one. And by the time you get through to September, then we've got a trough of low pressure sitting more or less across the country. So that would be a very wet and quite cool September as we begin the summer. But again, that's 6 months away, so it almost certainly won't verify. But that's what the CFS, anyway, is showing for the next 6 months. And overall, I'm not sure the signals are all that great for the summer, really. Right, we'll just go over to YouTube and we'll wrap up the live stream. We've still got 38 people with us. So I've been here for 55 minutes. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed the live stream that we've been doing on this Wednesday afternoon. We've got Lisa Cotton saying, knowing the British weather, it will be warm and dry during lockdown, and as soon as they lift it, it will rain for weeks. Well, you wouldn't be surprised if that's how it came out, would you, Lisa? Definitely not. But hopefully it won't be anything as dramatic as that. It's got Neil Cutler saying, afternoon Gav, everyone, some interesting model output from the GFS at the moment. Yes, indeed, Neil, and thank you so much for tuning in on this Wednesday afternoon. We're nearly at the end of the live stream now, but thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. And yeah, the GFS is definitely flirting with the idea of a bit of a northerly blast, isn't it? Into the second half of April, like in the third week of April. Whether that will verify or not, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, going into the second half of April, there's one thing we've forgotten about, I think, everything else that's going on. One thing we've forgotten about is the sudden stratospheric warming that we had back at the end of March. There is a time lag on the sudden stratospheric warming having a tropospheric response. So we probably haven't had a tropospheric response to the stratospheric warming yet. And it would be probably more sort of later into April before we would see a blocking response within the troposphere to that stratospheric warming. So maybe this idea of a Greenland high setting up for the third week of April might not, that GFS is playing with, might not be as unexpected as you might think, given the fact that we're, by that point, we'll be around a month away from having a sudden stratospheric warming at the 10 HPA level. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see. Right, so I think that's pretty much time to wrap things up. So I hope you've enjoyed this live stream that we've done this afternoon. Again, don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you haven't yet done so. And thank you, everybody, for being with us on this Wednesday afternoon. Now, as I said at the start of the stream, there won't be a live stream on Sunday. And the reason for that is that at 5 o'clock on Sunday, we're going to have to get the competition sorted out. So we're running a competition in association with metcheck.co.uk weather instrumentation. And you've still got time to enter that if you haven't yet done so. Email your name and local town or city to gazweathers@gmail.com. You'll go into the bag and somebody will win the prize that we're giving away, which is a fantastic rain gauge, actually worth nearly £60. Really, really delighted with that prize. But it means, because we're doing that, it means that I've got to get everybody's names together, print off all the names I've currently got on the computer, print them off, cut the piece of paper up, put them in the bag. It all gets very fraught, actually, for around an hour or so just before we do the competition winner reveal, and that means that we won't be able to do a live stream on Sunday. So the next live stream will be coming up a week today between 4 and 5 o'clock on Wednesday next week. There's going to be lots of updates in between them, so regular week 10 video updates, weekend forecast on Saturday. There'll be some analogues on Sunday, as well as Gazweather's Sunny Roundup. And of course, on Monday, we'll have the historic weather video. We're doing part 2 of the Frozen 40s trilogy, looking at the winter of 1941-1942, which was the second of 3 very cold winters in the early part of the 1940s. So that will be the historic video that we do on Monday, on Easter Monday. And as I say, the next live stream will be a week today on Wednesday between 4 and 5 o'clock. Right, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in this afternoon. It's been great. I think the stream's gone really well. Hope you've all enjoyed it. And we'll see you with all the regular videos anyway. And we'll see you back here, same time, same place, next Wednesday. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll talk very soon. That's all for now, though. Thanks for watching.